Most people light a candle, say a quick prayer, and go to sleep, not knowing that the night is exactly when the energy of prosperity is most accessible, and they are throwing away the most powerful window of the day. There is an herb. It has 3,000 years of history within the Jewish tradition. The wise used it at night in specific rituals to create what they called a field of reception, an internal state of total openness to abundance. This teaching has been preserved in closed study circles for centuries, and today I will reveal it to you. Stay with me until the end, because what you are going to learn here is not superstition. It is a formula. It is spiritual technology tested by generations who understood something about energy and prosperity that the modern world is still trying to rediscover. If you are not subscribed to this channel yet, subscribe now and activate the bell. Every week there is a new profound teaching, the kind that stays with you. And tell me in the comments, do you have any rituals before sleeping? Something you do every night without even realizing why? Let me know, I want to read. Today you will discover 3 revelations that most people have never heard. First, what this herb is, where it comes from in the Kabbalistic tradition, and why the night has always been considered the moment of greatest spiritual potency for prosperity. Second, the concept of kavanah, directed intention, and how it transforms a simple ritual into something that truly moves energy. Third, the complete formula, step by step, for you to apply this week. Let me start with a story I heard when I was a child. Imagine a woman, I will call her Grandma Rivka in this parable, who came from a small town in Eastern Europe with almost nothing in her hands. She had a handkerchief, a prayer book, and a small package of dried herbs wrapped in a dark cloth. When the daughters asked what that was, she always said the same thing. "It's my field of the night." She didn't explain further. Every night, before going to sleep, she would sit in an old chair by the window, open that cloth, hold a sprig of grass in her hand, and remain silent for a few minutes. She would murmur something in Hebrew. Then she would fold the cloth and go to sleep. This woman, Grandma Rivka of our story, raised a family that thrived in circumstances where most sank. And when someone asked the secret, she would respond with a phrase that became etched in family tradition. The night does not hide the blessing. The night concentrates it. This teaching has deep roots in Kabbalah. Let's understand why. In the Jewish tradition, the night does not begin when the sun sets. It begins much earlier, in consciousness. The wise taught that there are 2 modes of perception that a human being carries. The mode of the day, Reshut HaRabim, the domain of the collective, of noise, of external demands, of looking outward, and the mode of the night, Reshut HaYachid, the domain of the individual, of the interior, of silence, of looking inward. Prosperity, according to Kabbalah, is not attracted by the effort of the mode of the day. It is received through the opening of the mode of the night. During the day, you chase after things. At night, you make space to receive. And there is a Hebrew word that perfectly captures this process. Laila, night. But the root of Laila is also connected to the concept of spiral, of return, of movement that comes back to the center. The night is not the absence of light. It is the moment when the inner light can finally be heard because the outer light has stopped shouting. It is in this context that the herb comes in. The herb in question has a Hebrew name, Aesop. In Portuguese, hyssop. A small plant, humble in appearance, but with a giant presence within the Torah and Kabbalistic tradition. Hyssop appears in some of the most significant passages of Jewish scripture. It is the herb that was used during the exodus from Egypt, dipped in the blood of the lamb and placed at the entrance of the houses as an act of protection and transition. It is the herb mentioned in purification rituals, and in mystical writings it is associated with the process of limud halev, the learning of the heart, which occurs in moments of quiet and deep receptivity. Why hyssop specifically? The sages observed that this plant has a unique characteristic. It grows in cracks, in the crevices of stones, on ancient walls, in places where other plants do not survive. And this, for the Kabbalistic mind, is powerful symbolism. Hyssop teaches that life and prosperity find a way where conventional logic says there is no space. A pattern that often appears in people who dedicate themselves to spiritual work with intention is this. When they stop seeking prosperity only through obvious paths and begin to cultivate receptivity in unexpected moments and places, the flow of opportunity seems to change in quality. Not necessarily in quantity, in quality. The same hours of the day start to produce different results because the perception that guides them has changed. But there is a danger in this teaching. I need to warn you about it now. Most people who learn about spiritual rituals make the same mistake. They treat the ritual as the power. They light the herb and expect the herb to do the work. This is the opposite of what tradition teaches. The concept of kavanah, is absolute within Jewish mysticism. Kavanah means intention, but a specific type of intention. Directed, conscious, complete. The sages said that an action without kavanah is like a body without a soul. It exists, but it does not live. The ritual without kavanah is empty movement. Do you know what that means in practice? It means that the hyssop does not attract anything. You attract. The hyssop serves as a focus, as a sensory anchor, as an object that anchors your kavanah in the present moment and amplifies it. The herb is the instrument, you are the musician, and the music you play is made of intention. This is sophisticated spiritual technology. It is not blind belief, it is conscious practice. There is another concept we need to put on the table before arriving at the complete formula. In Hebrew, klita. Absorption, reception, integration. In Kabbalah, klita is the ability not only to attract abundance, but to retain it. To let it truly enter, instead of passing through your life like water through a sieve. Many people have problems not with attraction, but with klita. Money comes and goes. Opportunity appears and escapes. Good relationships come in and out. Because the capacity for absorption, the root of klita within them, is contracted. What contracts klita? The Kabbalists taught that it is mainly the mar, the unprocessed bitterness. Held resentments, disappointments that turned into cynicism, unfulfilled expectations that turned into closure. And it is here that the nighttime ritual with the hyssop becomes especially relevant. Because the night, Laila, the domain of the interior, is the ideal moment to work through mar. To let the bitterness rise to the surface, be recognized and begin to be released. And the hyssop, traditionally associated with purification, serves as a sensory catalyst for this process. Imagine someone like Mr. João, a man who worked his whole life with honesty, but always felt that the prosperity he deserved was just a step ahead. A pattern that often appears in such stories is the following. There is a central resentment, sometimes with someone from the past, sometimes with a situation that seemed unfair, that was never truly processed. This resentment doesn't disappear. It remains like an invisible glass wall between the person and the flow of abundance. When this resentment begins to be worked on consistently, not ignored, not buried, but genuinely confronted within a serious spiritual practice, something in the quality of the person's presence changes. And when the presence changes, what you project into the world and what the world returns to you also changes. With consistent practice, this approach cultivates openness, clarity, and a quality of perception that allows you to see opportunities that previously went unnoticed. Now the time has come, the complete formula. 3,000 years of wisdom condensed into a practice you can start this week. First step. Prepare the space. Choose a corner of your home. A fixed place, always the same. Consistency of place is important in the Kabbalistic tradition because the location accumulates intention over time. If you practice this in the same place for 40 days, that corner begins to carry a different energetic quality. Keep that space clean and simple. A candle, a small bowl of water, and your hyssop. It can be a sprig of the dried herb, which you can find in health food stores, or oils and preparations that contain the plant's extract. Second step, the right moment. Tradition points to the period between 10:30 and midnight as the window of greatest receptivity. This period coincides with what the wise called Shar HaChamishim, the gate of 50, a metaphor for the deepest level of spiritual openness. You don't need to be exact to the minute, but always choose within this window. Third step, the entry silence. Before starting anything, remain silent for a full 3 minutes. No phone, no music, nothing. Just you sitting in that space. These 3 minutes serve to transition from Reshut HaRabim, the noise of the day, to Reshut HaYachid, the inner silence. Don't try to think of anything special. Just observe your breath. Let the day slow down. Fourth step, the work with the mar. Take the hyssop in hand, close your eyes, and let a resentment, a hurt, a disappointment that you know you still carry come to the surface. Don't force it, just let whatever comes come. When it comes, don't try to resolve it. Just look at it internally and say softly, I see this fragment. I do not deny it. And now I choose to begin to let it go, so that my field can receive what is waiting for me. Repeat 3 times, slowly, with kavanah, with real intention, not mechanical. Fifth step, the invocation of Klita. Still holding the hyssop with your eyes closed, take a deep breath 3 times. And with each exhalation, say internally the Hebrew word Klita, Klita. Absorption. Let the word expand within you like a space that opens. Do this for 7 complete breaths. Sixth step, the decree of Shefa. Now open your eyes. Look at the flame of the candle. And in a firm voice, not shouted but firm, declare, May the flow of Shefa find in me a clear channel tonight. May what I work on during the day be received and multiplied during the night. May my rest also be a restoration of my field of prosperity. Seventh step, the closing in gratitude. Close the ritual by writing down, in a notebook kept just for this, one thing for which you are genuinely grateful that day. Not a long list. One real thing. Specific. Felt. Authentic gratitude is, according to Kabbalistic tradition, the greatest form of acknowledgement that you are already receiving. And acknowledgement opens the channel to receive more. Extinguish the candle. Go to sleep. Do this for 21 consecutive days. 21, 3 cycles of 7, is the period that the wise considered sufficient to create a new pattern of deep perception. I need to be honest with you about what to expect. In the early days, it may seem like nothing is happening. This is normal. The Yetzer Hara, the sabotaging impulse I mentioned in a previous teaching, will try to convince you that it's a waste of time, that it's too late, that you don't know how to do it right. Recognize that voice by name and continue anyway. Between the 7th and the 14th day, many people report starting to notice something different in the quality of their sleep. More vivid dreams. A lightness upon waking that wasn't there before. This is the internal system beginning to process what the ritual is working on. In the 3rd cycle, between the 15th and the 21st day, the work with the Mar begins to show noticeable results. Situations that previously brought automatic tension now have a fraction of a second more space before the reaction. And in that fraction of a second lies freedom, lies choice, lies tikkun. It's not instant magic, it's cultivation. Like a garden. You plant, you water, you wait. But when the plant emerges, it is real, it is yours. No one can take away from you what you have cultivated within. I want to hear from you. After 7 days of practicing this formula, come back here and tell me in the comments what you observed. It doesn't have to be dramatic, it can be small. A different perception, a new feeling upon waking, an opportunity that arose from an unexpected place. Tell me. Because real testimonies are the greatest blessing that a community like this can have. And if this teaching came at the right moment for you, if something here touched on something you were already carrying, share it with someone who needs to hear this today. You don't know who in your contact list is waiting for exactly this teaching. A message from you can change someone's night. Next week, I will bring a teaching about the concept of Eit Ratzon, the moment of favor, the opportune time. Kabbalistic tradition teaches that there are specific windows in the calendar and the daily cycle when the field of reception is naturally more open. When you learn to identify these windows and act within them, your spiritual and practical efficiency changes levels. Don't miss this video. Before I finish, a direct word to you who have made it this far. You came seeking a teaching about prosperity. But what you found, if you paid attention, is something more fundamental than money. You found an invitation to relate differently with the night, with silence, with your own fragments of bitterness, and with the capacity to receive that exists within you, waiting to be unlocked. The herb is simple. The ritual is accessible. What is not simple is consistency. And it is in consistency that transformation lives. May the Eternal bless you and keep you, this night and all nights. May the light of the Eternal shine upon you and bring clarity to everything you are carrying. May the Eternal grant you peace. Peace that is whole, that is shalom. The kind of peace that carries within it the fullness of everything that was created for you. Go with this blessing. Rest well tonight, and we'll see you in the next video. Shalom.